Hey guys. It's me Azariah Ryan 789. And today will be the first character Q&A video. These characters will be answering your question. Here's a quick rundown of them.
I'm Tyler Rogers.
I'm Julia Burnett.
I'm Marcus Munoz.
I'm Drake Durbin.
I'm Jeffrey Johnson.
I'm Richard Turner.
I'm Luz Bronze.
Alright. Let's get the Q&A started.
This question is for everyone. 1. What's your favorite movie of all time? 2. What's your biggest fear that you hope that never happens or encounters? 3. What do you guys think of Ash Ketchum retiring from Pokemon after 25 years? To answer the first question, I would say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The second one, I prefer not say for personal reasons. As for the third one, I'm not a huge Pokemon person, so I have no opinion on this question.
For number 1, I would say Disney Pixar's Inside Out. I really can relate to that movie a lot. For number 2, I would say my biggest fear is the possibility of falling ceiling fans. I've seen some videos of it happening and it really gets me anxious. Especially when having one in your bedroom. That's why I wish to never have one in my room for that reason. As for number 3, I have no opinion. Sorry, but I don't really keep up with today's Pokemon nor much of the franchise in general.
I would say DreamWorks movie Shrek. Definitely a true classic growing up. I can't answer number 3 because there was an incident that happened back in October last year you already may know.
I'm gonna go with Regular Show the movie. I find it to being an enjoyable film that shows some deep history on Mordecai and Rigby's past. Number 2, I don't know. And for number 3, I guess I would say it was about time he retires.
I personally like the Lego Batman movie from 2017. It's a really good take to focus on the Lego movie's side character Batman and get a good view of Gotham City in the style of the Lego movie universe. It also happened to release around my birthday. I ended up seeing it as a celebration for my 11th birthday that year. I guess I might as well tell you my biggest fear. I personally fear of constantly being looked down upon. While that has happened before, I get visions sometimes where it would literally be everyone, including my friends, family, and other associates. I wouldn't want this to happen on a daily. As for question number 3, it is what it is at this point.
Personally for me, it would have to be Teen Titans, Trouble in Tokyo. Definitely brings back some memories. I recall rewatching it when it was available on video on demand. For the second one, I personally don't want the strange noises I hear at night pop out at me when I go camping. Although I am beginning to move past from that, but still. Now for number 3, I have no thoughts on the since I don't watch Pokemon. Sorry.
I would go with The Incredibles 2004 film. I'm not sure for number 2. There are some things I fear. I guess I would say going missing. I was very spooked about the incident that happened at our camping trip. Although, it was all an elaborate hoax. Number 1, I would say Death the Hate Master. I do find his Reaper series quite interesting, especially some of the new things he is doing in later episodes. Really? I honestly didn't know that. Cool. For the last question, no, I do not.
Number 1 is King the Hard question. Besides Azarian 789, I would say Animator Guy 0986 since I do find his videos to be entertaining, especially some of the edgy humor he has. Number 2, I was unaware of this, but I bet it must be a huge honor for her. For the last one, no.
For the first one, I would go with Brainiac Adams since he's quite a noble user that makes good content. Especially when he produced some interesting storylines surrounding the Adamantiums versus the Alanostiums. I really enjoyed his movie he produced last year. Number 2, I find this quite interesting. Since I'm now hearing the news. For the third one, I don't have any.
Number 1, I would say Corey Comedian 2K2 since I find his content to be great, and I'm looking forward for new upcoming things he has in store. Although my answer is similar to what Luz, Tyler and Julia said, I think it's quite interesting that she's on there. Number 3, I don't.
Oh shoot, This is gonna be kind of a head-scratcher. For one, I'll say Novodrome since I do find the concept of his channel content quite unique compared to most Vinders. For number 2, I think that sounds like a great honor for her. I'm really impressed. For number 3, nope.
I would say for number 1, Gyapra. Since he does put a lot of effort with animations of those creatures in the Dark and the Evil series. Number 2, I find that to be really cool, even though I'm quite new to hearing this just like some of my friends. Number 3, I'm not.
I would say the optimistic Angel Man 2K1, since I find the style of his content to be rather different than some other Viners and that he does keep coming up with new ideas for his videos and storyline. Number 2, I do feel proud of her for making it on there. Number 3, no.
This next question is for me. Number 1, he's awful. From what I heard, he has been doing some very scummy things and saying a bunch of crap that is rather upsetting to a lot of people. Number 2, I've seen bits and pieces of it. The next set of questions is for all of us. The first one, I would say a tie between Mr. Brandon and Mrs. Keki. They are both sick twisted pedos who likes to go after minors including teens and young children. Number 2, I never heard of that. Sorry. For number 3, I do like Adidas headies. I own a couple at home.
Although they are all equally total scumbags, in my opinion I would say Alan is the worst. Mainly because this guy is mad with power and would stop at nothing to get his way. I never heard of the second one, so I'm gonna skip this. For the last one, I would go with Puma.
This one is kinda of a tricky one since all of them are horrible in my thoughts. But if I had to choose, I would say Alan for the same reason that Julia had stated. Number 2, I never heard of it. For 3, Nikes all the way.
Personally, I can't stand Constance because she's a total child-abusing monster. No children should be anywhere near her due to her insane actions. Now for the second one, I have no idea what that is. Now me personally, I can rock with Phyllis.
Personally, I kinda hate Boris Johnson. No. I really hate this guy. Me personally I can't stand politics. I find that crap to be boring as hell. Not to mention it really annoys me when people brings up trivial arguments that turns political. I won't go further into detail, but politics can go to hell for all I care. Apologies for my little ranting there. Now to answer your next question, I have no clue what those are, so no thoughts. Now for the last question, I would say Jordans and Nikes.
In my thoughts, I would say The Mask. Although I didn't see much of the Mask movie, I hate this guy in particular. Mainly he's a creepy bastard who uses masks to brainwash people and turn them evil like him. He likes to traumatize people who have fears of him, such as Brainiac Adam and Michael Dagger. And oh, I can never forget the nasty shit this guy has done to Kenward's mom. Number 2, I never heard of this, so I will skip this. Now this one I'm gonna be a bit basic on, but I can't lie, I can rock with Jordans. Also, I can do with Champions. They do got some pretty good shirts.
Need I must say? It's a clear tie between Ellen, Mr. Brendan, Miss Kiki and Constance for obvious reasons. And I have no idea what is James Bond. Now the last one, I like Champion, Puma and Nikes. Now this question is for all of us. Now to answer your first question, I would like to have a profession in the business industry, maybe not for the entrepreneurship, but get involved in some major companies. Now for this question, my number 1 favorite color is purple, followed by others that I like including turquoise, cyan, and mint green. For the last one, I would say listening to music, playing the guitar and hanging out with my friends makes me happy.
This one is quite interesting. I would say other than my side hobby as a gamer, I would like to partake in some professional sports like basketball. But at the same time is only a potential possibility. Now for the second one, it is a tie between red and blue. But mostly blue. Now for the last one, I like spending time with my friends and family. Especially when my cousins would come to visit. The adventure with the activities we do really make me happy.
I never really thought too much about it. But I do have dreams of becoming an actress in the future. For number 2, I would say magenta. Number 3, the thing that makes me happy is being able to enjoy myself and relax.
Now for number 1, I personally want to become a profession barber as a side job. But my main job is to be a construction worker. Number 2, I would say my favorite color is orange. Personally for me, number 3 is that I am relieved to finally graduate from high school and moving on to the next chapter of my life.
This should be a simple question. I want to become a store owner of a new business that I would like to start up. For number 2, my favorite color is green. For me personally, while graduating from high school makes me feel very proud of myself. Having the memories I share with others, including my friends and family, are always the highlight of my life.
For me, I want to become a technician since I personally have some interest in working with computers. My favorite color is for sure red. Personally, what makes me happy is having the feeling of accomplishment. I've blundered countless times before, but despite that, I didn't just stop there. As much failure can be a huge pain in the ass, I really tried to strive to be successful. And that feeling of succeeding after those losses really makes me smile.
My personal dream is to become either a professional writer of a TV show or possibly becoming a talk show host. But I more lean to the latter. Now for this one, I would go with orange and blue. I really do love those two colors. Now granted, I have a similar answer to what Marcus and Drake says about high school graduation. While the feeling of completing those years and moving on with my life is a great feeling, I would add that being there for my friends when they need the most and looking after my younger siblings really do make me happy.
These questions is for me, Julia, Marcus, and Luz. Number 1, while I have heard of the My Hero Academia franchise, I never watched them since I'm not that into anime. Number 2, I do have some beliefs in it, although my family doesn't often go to church. This might be a bit biased, but I did enjoy the Tom and Jerry movie from 2021. While it was a pleasant film, I mainly enjoyed that night out me and my friends planned. It was a lot of fun.
Number 1, I've seen clips of the first My Hero Academia film, but never really got a chance to see the full thing since it wasn't my biggest interest, despite how much the fandom hypes it up. Number 2, my family is not really overly religious, so no, not really. Number 3, I have not seen too many movies of Tom and Jerry besides that 2021 film, which was fine. Although I've seen some of the TV shows.
Number 1, I only watched a little bit of the series but none of the movies. I'm just not a die-hearted fan of My Hero Academia, but I do respect others who are. Number 2, I am in a Catholic household, so yeah. I do believe in Christianity. Number 3, I don't really have one, to be quite honest.
Number 1, I have seen some of the series, and only one movie, but not the rest. Number 2, I do actually. Number 3, I'm not really a big Tom and Jerry fan or anything, and I haven't watched too many films. But I did watch that one Christmas film a while back as a child.
This question is for me. Number 1, I never watched it, but there are a lot of kids at my school that talks about the show. I just was never really a big-time fan of it. Now my answer for number 2 is easily Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Both are really good films from the Marvel franchise. For number 3, I never heard of them before, so I don't have an answer for that, I'm afraid. Oh. There's another set of questions for me. Oh, that's cool. I've already answered this question already, so I'm gonna skip it. This one's a tricky one. This game more than likely only exists in my universe, but I enjoy the Galactic Combat series. As for the one that exists for everyone, I pick Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
This one is for me. To answer your first question, Animator Guy, I really enjoy your Dark Exterminator series. It's a really unique series that almost resembles the Reapers and the Evil Girls, but with its own little twists. I encourage you to keep up with the great work. As for the second question, I don't care for this app nearly as much as Instagram. I haven't used Snapchat in a few years since the app didn't really interest me that much. Not to mention my notifications would be clogged with meeting random people online.
Number 1. Yum. Number 2. I love it. Number 3. It's cool. although I haven't been there in years. And for number 4, it's fine, even if I've never been there.
I already answered number 2, so I'll only answer number 1 and 3. Number 1. I used to watch this show as a young child, so it was decent for that time period. For number 3, other than the video game in my universe, the video game I like personally is Apex Legends. Tyler and I have already answered this question, so we'll skip this one.
I would go with Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty and Super Smash Bros.
For me, I like playing Mario Party series, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for Nintendo and Spider-Man 2018 on PlayStation 4.
I don't play a whole lot of video games, but I have played some of the Sonic and Mario games growing up.
Definitely the Zelda series. I am a massive fan of those games. But I also like Pokémon, Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog games as well.
These questions are for me. Number 1. This series okay, although I have not been keeping up with it that much. Number 2. It's okay, but not the show I usually watch regularly. Number 3. I didn't watch a whole lot of those series, so I have no opinion. This question is for everyone. Number 1. No, we have no plans to add the squad agents in our group. Although they are never evil to begin with, they are already college students. Although some of our friends are going off to college this upcoming school year, these people were already in college for about a year or so. Number 2, I would go with no.
Like Tyler says, we aren't adding the squad agents in our group. Number 2, I would say Tigress.
Honestly, dude, the first question shouldn't be an everyone question. You are going to get the same answer, so I'll skip it. And for future reference, people, if you are gonna ask a question pertaining to our group, only ask one of us, since it's gonna be the same response. Just a little heads up. Now to answer your second question, I would go with Viper.
Skipping 1. For number 2, I would say Tigress.
Definitely I would say Poe.
I would go with Master Monkey.
It's a tie between Tigress and Viper.
These questions are for me. Number 1. I've seen the Clone Wars but not Bad Batch. Number 2. It's a decent movie. I know there are some mixed reviews for the film, and it did poorly in the box office during the opening. But in my thoughts it's a solid film, so I'd rate it a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. Number 3. I don't have a favorite character per se, but I am most familiar with Lightning McQueen. Okay, these questions aren't addressed to anyone specifically, so we'll all answer them as best as we can. Number 1. I don't know because I'm not really that familiar with them. Sorry to say. Now for number 2, on the other hand. Yum. I love Hershey's chocolate.
Don't know for number 1. But number 2, I really love it a lot.
Number 1. Don't know. Number 2. I like.
No clue for number 1, sorry. Number 2, I really like it.
I can't answer number 1. But number 2, I do like Hershey's chocolate.
I don't know about number 1. Sorry about that. But I do like Hershey's.
Not too familiar with them. But I am totally fine with Hershey's chocolate. Oh, these last few questions are for me. Number 1. I never seen your content, so I have no opinion. Number 2. I don't really care about this group, to be quite honest, due to how poorly written they are. A lot of users in this community often compares this group to be as bad as the Alanostiums, the Reapers and the Chaos Coalition. In my thoughts, this group would honestly be a complete joke compared to these big-time real supervillains. Even if they are to be worse than most moderate and mild troublemakers, I personally wouldn't qualify them to be one of the biggest threat in the Beyond universe. If any of you guys want this group to be taken more seriously, my suggestion would be that they should get proper storylines rather than just generic grounded videos. Even Brainiac Adam makes grounded videos out of the Alanostiums, but at the same time gets creative with the videos and even gives the group well-written storylines that many people can actually take them serious as real villains rather than generic troublemakers that just do bad things and gets grounded. You all are still free to do grounded videos out of them. But to the creators of the Rubber Bandits group, I strongly suggest to give the group more character and time to shine with better written storylines. Oof, I kinda went in on that topic a bit. As for the third and final question, I've never heard of it, so I have no thoughts on it. Looks like we reached the end. Thank you all for your time.
And that concludes my character Q&A. I want to thank you all for your participation in all this. It was really fun when the character answer your questions from their response. Kind of like an interactive with a show. Hopefully I might do another one in future. Now you guys are wondering why my crown is dark blue rather than a cyan color. This is because I did make a mistake at first, but after a while, I'm thinking of giving my avatar an upgrade. Don't worry, you guys are still free to use my previous attire. I did say I may do some minor upgrades with it, but nothing too major. This look also reminds me of my old 2021 avatar, which is another reason why I might make this upgrade. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'm on the road to 3,000 subscribers. I'm hoping to reach my goal possibly by the end of the summer season. Thank you guys for sticking with me this far. Until next time, see you guys later.